Hey guys, it's Garth Harris, Vice President of Product Innovation here at Cake, and welcome to our starter series. This is training number 2 for lead distribution. Alright, let's go back into our agenda. So in the first training, we went over the fundamentals of some key terminology, and we just laid the groundworks of ultimately going into this training, which is actually going to be getting into Cake and setting some things up. But we wanted to make sure you understood what a vertical was, and lead fields, and all those important pieces for our lead distribution process. On this training, we're going to go into a lot more detail around the lead collection process. So everything around getting leads into Cake. And then on our next training, we'll talk about how you can get your leads from Cake to be sold to your lead buyers. And then ultimately on our 4th training session, we'll actually go through some reporting and accounting tips and tricks so that you know how to actually invoice buyers and run reporting, etc. Now, as far as an agenda goes, we are going to actually get into the setup of your vertical. So we'll add a new vertical and we'll create vertical fields and talk about validation. We'll also create a new advertiser and go through the process of connecting that advertiser and that vertical to an offer. And the offers that we have are going to be either hosted or host and post, and we'll get into all of that nuance in just a bit. And then we'll get to creating an affiliate. Remember, an affiliate is going to be the source of your leads. In most cases, you're working with third-party partners to buy leads. In other cases, you may be the affiliate because you're actually collecting the lead yourself. You're generating that lead. And then we'll end on a campaign configuration, which is taking the affiliate and combining it with an offer to create that campaign relationship, where we will ultimately be able to show you how to send in a test lead into Cake so that you know how a server post works. Alrighty, we're going to kick off this training by going into what it takes to set up a vertical and identify some of the components of the vertical before we actually get into a demonstration of adding a vertical directly inside of Cake. So just to review what a vertical is, especially in Cake, since I know there's different definitions across different industries, but within Cake, the vertical is going to be an entity which represents an industry used to categorize your offers. So off to the right-hand side here, we have some examples of some of the different verticals that we often see inside of Cake across our different clients. These are obviously just examples. And more importantly, for lead distribution, verticals are going to be what defines the type of lead details that you're going to collect. So although every vertical may collect first name, last name, and email address, the types of information you're going to collect could vary greatly depending on the vertical itself. So over here on the left, these are some bullet points of the items that we're going to review when we jump into Cake and do a live demonstration of adding a vertical. So we'll go through the process of actually creating the vertical from scratch, and then we'll go into lead fields. We'll talk through the differences between basic fields and adding in your own custom fields. We'll talk through lead validation at a basic level. There's a lot more advanced things you can do on validation that we won't cover in this fundamentals training. We'll talk through what it takes to create a lead filter and what lead filters are capable of doing within the platform. We'll go back into the vertical and we'll review some of the settings within the vertical itself related to lead routing. And then ultimately we will open up the posting document that gets generated from the vertical card to show you what that document looks like for either passing it on to your affiliates or for your own internal use. All right, let's jump into Cake and do a live demonstration of how to add a vertical and go through the lead fields and some of the other components. All right, welcome to my demo environment. The first thing we're going to do to add the vertical is to go ahead and click on our setup button on the bottom left here. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and click on the verticals sub-tab up top. And this is where we can find a list of all of our verticals that we have in the system. We just have a few here in our demo environment, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new one for us called Finance 2, just because finance is a simple example for us to use. So to add the new vertical, we're going to go ahead and click on this Add Vertical button on the top right. And this is going to open up one of our wizards. And the wizards are going to be found throughout the platform. This is how we add new things into the system. It's just a step-by-step guided walkthrough to make sure that you don't miss anything, and it's just very easy and simple. So we'll go ahead and call this just Finance 2, again, just to keep it as a simple example, and because I already had a vertical called Finance. And every vertical is going to require a vertical category. Vertical categories are typically used in a bit more, there's a bit more use cases for them on the affiliate management side of the house. This is where you can choose to have lots of different offers in your platform, and you may want to have the affiliate portal filtered for your affiliates, that is, based on the vertical category as opposed to the vertical itself. And so you may have really nuanced verticals that really just roll up into a broader category, and that's where this category can be a bit more useful for the affiliates when they're searching the types of offers that you have. And so in this case, you can see there's this massive list of default vertical categories, and we're just going to go ahead and choose one of these finance ones here because you can get very specific, and you can also narrow down that list by quite a bit as well when you go live in your system. All right, so we'll go ahead and click Next, and as you can see, those are the only two pieces of information that are required to build our vertical. So we'll go ahead and click Finish, and Cake Auto creates the card and opens it up for you right away just to make it easy. So the first thing we want to review on the vertical, specifically for lead distribution purposes, is this third tab over from the left called Fields. Now, fields are going to be the data, the lead data that you're going to be collecting either from your affiliates or from your lead form itself. Now, the reason why there are already lead fields in the vertical card is because these are called our basic fields. Every Cake system comes default with a bunch of fields that we assume you're going to want to collect in the first place. However, you're not limited to these fields. We can add new fields, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. But one thing to keep note of is that if you click on city, for example, because you're like, okay, well, this vertical is not going to use the city field. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and click remove. Now, when you do that, Cake is going to populate a little warning sign that says, hey, this is a basic field, which means that if you delete it on this vertical, you're actually going to delete it across all your verticals. So you probably should not do that. So you don't have to use it. You just can choose to make it hidden or just not required, etc. And so that is just one thing we want you to be aware of. Now, we can see here some just basic columns here showing us the type of field it is. So from a technical perspective, when you collect lead data from your affiliates, you're going to need to tell them the type of data you want to collect per field. So you'll see that most of these fields are just strings, which means that you can collect any type of character. You're not limited to numbers or letters or symbols. You can just collect a string of data. We're going to go ahead and create a new field called credit score, just so that I can show you what those data types are and how they function. So we'll go ahead and click Add, give it a label. The label is just a label. It's so that the affiliates, when they're looking at your posting document, they can easily see what it is you're trying to collect. So in this case, we'll say credit score. Now the name is going to be how you collect it technically speaking. So when your affiliate posts lead data to you, or when you're collecting lead data yourself on your own forms, you need to know how to format that data so that it can enter into Cake correctly. And this is how we define that. So in this case, we can say credit underscore score, because you have to imagine that this is all going to be passed on a URL. So if it's going to be passed over the internet on a URL, there can't be any spaces, and so that's the appropriate way to do that. Now you could call that CS for credit score, and that's where the label would come in nicely, because the label tells you in a bit more plain English, here is what it is I'm collecting. We're going to go ahead and bypass group fields just for now because that's not in the fundamentals, and just go straight to data type. Now we have a few here. Again, string is if I just want to collect any groupings of numbers, letters, characters, so most commonly used data type for sure. Now, if I am actually asking for a date, I could choose the date data type, because then we can do things where we can normalize that data and we can actually format it a bit uniquely. But in this case, credit score is not a date, so we'll go ahead and pass that up. Now, we are going to choose either between number and list, and I'll tell you why. So number is very much like a string. You can type in whatever you want as long as it's a number, and then we can receive it. The other interesting thing you can do with a number data type is that I can build filters that leverage this field. So imagine you're saying, hey, tell me what your credit score is, and somebody types in 720. Well, then you can go and build a filter that says, well, I want to sell leads to my buyers where the user's credit score is greater than or equal to 700. So you can do math on number data types. So that is the perk of the number data type, if you will. Now a list is where you are actually specifying, I'm only going to collect these values. So you can build a list of, call it 6 items. So you can have a range of 300 to 400, 400 to 500, 500 to 600, etc. And that would be your list. And so somebody couldn't actually pass you just some random value. They would have to pass you a value on your list. And that is another perk of having a list, is that you can then map a list of values to your buyer. Because maybe your buyer has to collect this particular field in a really specific way. Well, that's the benefit of a list, is that you can map, you can do one-to-one mappings between the data you're collecting on a field and then mapping it to how the buyer needs to receive it because their platform requires it in some sort of format. So again, these are just introduction definitions. If you have any questions or need help on this, please let us know. The last data type is a bool. This is a true or false statement. So a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no. So typically we use bools if there's going to be a checkbox on a form and you want to collect the value as either 1 or 0 or true or false. So bools are probably the least likely to be used, but that is an option for you. Now moving over to the right here, well actually before we do that, let's choose our data type. So in our case, I'm going to go ahead and select number because we're going to let the user fill in the value of their credit score, and then we'll go ahead and build a filter based on that credit score here in just a bit. Now show in reports is as you'd expect. Do you want this data to be shown in your lead detail reports or not? So we'll say, yes, I do want to show this in reports. And then do you want to hide this value from your buyers? So Cake has a buyer portal where you can allow your buyers to log in and view their leads, view some basic reporting, and you can choose to omit this field from the buyer portal if you'd like. Now I have no desire to hide this, so I'm going to go ahead and click update. All right, so we added in our first field called credit score. And the next thing I want to show you is how we can apply some basic validation. So as you can see here, if I highlight this row, we have this field is not required at the moment, and there is no custom validation being applied to this field, but I'd like to add that. So let's go ahead and click on the actual field itself, and that's going to pop open our validation card. And so the first thing I want to do is click add, and then see my options for validation type. Now the validation I'm going to add is the most basic, which is I want to make this field required. So we'll go ahead and click required. And the fundamental training that we're part of right now in the starter series is really focusing on server post decisions. So I am buying my leads from an affiliate who has just server posted. So Cake has to give us both options for both browser posting and server posting because the behavior is different. So in this case, I don't have to be concerned all that much with browser post decisions, but I am forced to choose an option. So I'm going to go ahead and say throw out that lead, even though it's not relevant for me. But if you are doing a browser post and you're listening to this training, this is applicable to you because you've licensed both the affiliate management portion of our product and the lead distribution portion of our product, and you're doing a browser post. And so in this case, I believe we do have some knowledge base information around this, but you do have a few unique offers or you have options here under this dropdown. Now, a server post decision means that when the affiliate posts you a lead, and let's say that credit score is missing from the lead itself, and we're saying, well, this is required. I'm requiring this field to be present on the lead. So this dropdown is telling us, what would you like to do with that lead if it's not present on the server post from the affiliate? So you have two options. I can either push this lead into my review queue, which we discussed on the first training. This is a queue where you can go and manually review your leads. Or you can simply say, I'm going to reject this lead, which would give the affiliate an error message saying that they're missing this field on their lead. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a hard requirement and therefore reject the lead if we do not receive it on the post. Now I can put in some custom error text for the affiliate, but our posting document and the way that our XML response returns a response to the affiliate is pretty straightforward enough. So I'm going to go ahead and click update and then exit out of this validation card. Now when I go back to my vertical and I see my fields tab here, I have my list of vertical fields. I see credit score has been updated. I now have required equals yes, and I've added validation. So that is the process of adding validation to an individual field. And as you can see, you can add validation to as many fields as you'd like. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to build a filter. Now, filters are going to be one of the most important tools within the lead distribution process. Filters allow you to make decisions on your leads, whether or not you want to sell a lead to a particular buyer, whether or not you want to pay for the lead. So there's lots of different things that you can do with filters, and they're extremely flexible. So the way that we can go and create a new filter, and I'm going to build it on credit score, just so I can show you how that math works on the data type of number. So we'll go ahead, and within this same list of subtabs, I have filter types right here. So click on filter types. I'm going to move this card down here just so we can see the filters a bit better. And I'm going to go ahead and click add because I want to add a new filter. So the filter type name is going to be credit score greater than or equal to. So that's going to be the name of my filter so that when I use it in other parts of the system, I know exactly what that filter is trying to do. So now we have to apply this name of the filter to the actual lead field itself. And so we have it listed out by verticals. So if we scroll down, we have basic fields first, and then it's all alphabetical. So I added finance too, and here's credit score. And then my operator is going to be based on what I want to do with it. So in this case, I want to do a greater than or equal to operator on my number data type. So I've chosen my operator, I have my lead field, and now I have the name of my filter, which we will be using down the road in other parts of this training when I go to show you how to create filters for my buyers so that I can sell specific types of leads to my buyers. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. All right, so I've created a filter. Now, filters on the vertical card are going to be used to determine whether or not we pay the affiliate for the lead or not. So we may accept every lead, but we may choose to not pay the affiliate because part of our contract with the affiliate is that we only pay for leads where the credit score is greater than or equal to 500, for example. So anything below 500, we're just not going to pay for that lead. in which case I can go to the Filters tab, add my filter, find credit score, and then put 500. So now if I buy a lead from my affiliate and credit score is 450, for example, Cake will choose to not pay the affiliate, even though all my other rules across the system clearly say I should be paying for this lead. So that's a great tool to ensure that you're getting the highest quality of leads and you're paying for the right types of leads. Okay, so now the second to last thing I want to show you are a few settings that we can configure on the vertical itself. So going back to the Home tab of my vertical, let's go to the Routing Information tab. And I do have a few settings here. We're not going to cover all of them, but I do want to highlight a couple of them for you. So you can see here, Router On. This just means that Cake is going to try to sell leads that come through this vertical. So I don't really ever see you turning this off, but in case you need to have the emergency off button, that's how you can say, hey, any lead funneling through this vertical, I don't want Cake to sell anymore to my buyers. So you would actually remove this setting here. Now, tie favors exclusive is going to be in relation to if I'm selling my leads to one buyer at a time, so we call that an exclusive sale, or a multi-sale. And the way that we determine that is by default, we look at the price. So let's say you have one buyer who's buying leads for $9. And then you have a bunch of other buyers that are paying way less, but you can do a multi-sell. And those buyers are set up to be on a multi-sell. So you have 3 buyers that are on multi-sell at $3, and then you have one exclusive buyer at $9. So Cake's looking at both scenarios. I can sell it to one buyer for $9, or I can sell it to 3 buyers also for $9. Which one should I do? Well, in this case, it's a tie. And so Cake needs to know who should we sell it to. In this case, you can say, I want my tie to go to my exclusive buyer. Or if you don't turn this on, which is the default behavior, then it would multi-sell. And the last thing I want to show you here is this resell limit. Resell limit really is how many buyers do I want to multi-sell to at a time. So in this case, we're defaulted to 3, but I could up this to 4, 5, 6 in case you want to try to sell one lead to as many buyers as you possibly can. All right, so those are the settings I wanted to show you. The next part of this vertical card training that I want to show is the posting doc. So the posting doc really is once you've configured all of your fields and you've configured all of your validation, then at that point, you're ready to generate a posting document that you would deliver either to your own internal team to set up with your website, or you would deliver this to your affiliate with their campaign ID and their key, which are the 2 required elements to send a lead into Cake. So let's go ahead and click on the posting doc button just to review how our posting doc at Cake works. Now, by default, it is set up as a server post, which is what we wanted to go through on this training today. Now, you see I do have some other options here. We reviewed these options in training number 1, if you remember, but they do require our affiliate management platform because we're dealing with clicks, cookies, request IDs, these elements that we're not going to cover on this training. So we're going to keep it very simple and straightforward. I'm just going to be collecting leads on a server post, which means that my affiliate is posting leads to me directly. Or I have my internal website generating leads, and then my CRM or some software product or database is then pushing those leads into Cake just right there on the server post. And so to do a server post, I have all of my available fields that I could collect. You can see which ones are required and which ones are not. So you can see credit score is required. And these bold items here are what I just mentioned previously, is that I need a campaign ID and I need a key. And these are 2 values that we have not covered quite yet because we haven't created the campaign. We'll get to that in the later part of the training. But I just wanted to show you that every posting doc requires these two values on a server post. And then from there, you can see all the other fields that we could collect, but they're not required. Scrolling down here, we have our post URL. So this is the URL that you configured when you first signed up to Cake. We have our methods. You can either get leads through a get or a post. We have HTTPS or HTTP accepted. I personally would just communicate to your affiliates that every lead should be posted securely, so on an HTTPS post. And then as you make fields required, we will build an example post string for you so you can see what that looks like. So we have the post URL, the campaign ID, the key, and then here's an example of posting with the credit score on there. And then for a test, which we'll get into again later in this training when I actually send in a test lead, you can see we have our different methods. And then ultimately, when you do receive leads, how does Cake respond to the person sending the leads to you? And these are some example responses. So it's a very comprehensive posting document. Any affiliate who has been in the lead distribution or lead generation game will understand our posting doc because it's very, very straightforward and it's very simple and easy to understand. So that is our vertical, all of the fields, validations, filters, and ultimately getting to that finish line of a posting doc, which allows you to receive leads inside of Cake. All right, so the next section that we're going to review is how to set up an advertiser. Now, in the scenario of lead distribution with Cake, where we're receiving a lead and then posting it to a buyer, the advertiser actually plays probably the smallest role out of all of the other entities that we're going to be building. So this should be a relatively quick section that we'll fly through. So an advertiser, just to review, is the owner or the broker of an offer. Now, typically with what we would call a third-party offer, where you are working with affiliates to drive traffic to somebody else's offer, the advertiser plays a larger role because they own the offer. But in the scenario where you are buying lead data from an affiliate and then selling that lead data to a buyer, the advertiser is more often than not you. You are typically the advertiser because you are the one managing the offer and the type of data that you are collecting. So in that case, we will show you how to go through the process of creating an advertiser very quickly so that we can move on to creating an offer. Alrighty, we are back in our demo environment and we are now going to walk you through how to add an advertiser. Now, before I actually click on the button to add the advertiser itself, I'm going to navigate to the advertiser grid so you know where the list of advertisers are. So we're going to click on the advertisers main tab. And then go ahead and click on the advertisers sub-tab, which will give us a list of all of our advertisers that we've created in the system. So from here, you can actually click on Add Advertiser to launch the Add Advertiser wizard. But also, it's just good practice to learn that our action menu on the top right has a list of our actions that we can take, and one of those is actually adding an advertiser. So it launches the exact same wizard. You can do it from here or you can do it from the list, but I just want you to be aware that our action menu is really the go-to spot from wherever you are in the system so that you can save yourself a few clicks. Now, the advertiser itself will require just a name, so we can just call this our internal advertiser or finance advertiser. Again, in the lead distribution scenario, oftentimes you are the advertiser, which means that you actually don't have to create an advertiser because every system will come with the default advertiser. And that's actually the first line item in our advertiser grid here. We just called our system Mega Instance, the Cake product team. But so you could just apply that advertiser already. But just in case you wanted to build a new advertiser, go ahead and give it a name. And then you can choose to fill out the rest of these details, especially if you are managing a lead gen campaign on behalf of a third-party advertiser. that scenario is a little less likely, but it is possible. So we'll go ahead and click Next and then Finish. And you'll see that our advertiser card opens up right away. Now from here, we actually don't need to do anything. We don't have to do any configurations or settings, but our advertiser has been completed. So we'll go ahead and move on to offers next. All right, now that we've configured our vertical and our advertiser, the next step in the process is going to be our offer. Now, before we jump into the demonstration and actually show you how to build an offer, I wanted to highlight some of the elements of the offer that we're going to cover. So just to review, the definition of an offer in Cake is going to be that product or service that is being advertised to consumers. So to be a bit more specific in the example of lead distribution, this is really going to be around the type of leads you are generating. So whether you're generating, like I mentioned, mortgage leads or bathroom remodeling leads, that may actually be the type of offer that you're going to be creating. Now, when in Cake, we have two primary types of offers that we're going to go into in a bit more detail on the next slide, but just to introduce them to you, we have a hosted offer and we have a host and post offer. And when we get into the demonstration, we'll go through both, but I just want to introduce that there are two distinct types of offers because it's going to depend on how you route your leads to your buyers and what methods you want to use. And we'll describe what method is going to be best for your use case in just a little bit as well. Once we actually create the offer, we'll talk about being able to set payouts on the offer, which will then become the defaults for your affiliates as we build campaigns. And we can also talk about putting lead caps on there in case your advertisers or buyers have restrictions on that. And we'll talk through how to set up your lead deduplication method. So Cake will have a default deduplication method at the system level, and then you'll be able to control that at the offer level. You'll be able to control the lead deduplication days in case you want to be able to accept the same user over the course of every month or every week, etc. We'll be talking through our lead routing settings so that you know exactly how those work. We also have offer level validation. So the validation that I showed you at the vertical level can be overwritten on the offer level. And then lastly, we'll talk through some of the information that you can put in the offer card that will be relevant for the affiliates as they are browsing offers in your affiliate portal. So let's go into a bit more detail around these two different types of offers because this can be an area of confusion or an area of best practice for us as we work with our clients. So this is actually a very important part of our system. So let me just read that top part first. So Cake supports two main types of lead generation offers, hosted and host and post. These offer types will determine how leads are routed through the system and sold to available buyers. So let's start off with hosted first. So when you are running a hosted offer, your leads don't have to be sold in real time. That's probably the biggest distinguishing factor between hosted and post. On the contrary, not to jump between the two, but host and post therefore does do a real-time sale. So the leads come in on a host and post offer, they sell immediately. Hosted offers, you can actually take advantage of the review queue and you can take advantage of the queue, which means that the leads can sit around for a bit, awaiting the best possible buyer to be sold. You also have the ability for additional monetization and enrichment opportunities. So Cake has some advanced functionality around this idea of queues, which means that you can actually funnel a lead through several queues, which could be making API calls to lead enrichment platforms for being able to collect additional data, maybe a call center. So that is also an element of a hosted offer. Leads that fail validation can be sent to the review queue for additional validation. So again, the lead comes in, you have this validation on it, and let's say first name is required and first name is not on your lead. That means you can actually post that lead into the review queue, call the user, get their first name, update the lead, and then move the lead to the queue where it can be sold. Affiliates are paid for valid leads, whether they sell to a buyer or not. So here is one of the elements of a hosted offer which can often be missed. So because we're not selling a lead in real time, we can't make a decision about whether or not to pay the affiliate. So if you are buying leads from an affiliate on a hosted offer, you're essentially saying, hey, thank you for the lead. I may or may not be able to sell that lead down the road. So the affiliates are not going to wait. They're going to get paid for every single lead that comes through. And then the last point is also very important. Lead deduplication is actually across every offer within that vertical and not per offer. So that is one distinction between our hosted offers and our host and post offers. So going back to host and post, leads are sold in real time. So part of that workflow is you may need to sell a lead in real time because the response that you get from your buyer may actually determine whether or not you send the user to a different URL or not, or send a dynamic message to the end user. So that is probably the most important element of a host and post offer. Second bullet point, leads that fail validation are not sold in real time, or that are not sold in real time rather, will be sent to the scrub queue. So there is no review queue process with this host and post situation. Affiliates are paid for leads sold in real time. So you have the ability to toggle some settings to say, hey, affiliate, I'm only going to pay you if my lead is actually sold to the buyer. So that's a good perk of the host and post offers, that you have a bit of dynamic payouts in regards to when the leads actually sell or not. And then lastly, lead deduplication is at the offer level itself. So if you have leads coming in on offer A, and then the exact same user comes in on offer B, and both offers are host and post, we will not dedupe because those are two separate offers. Versus our hosted offers, you can dedupe across multiple offers. All right, so the next step here is to go into the platform and we will configure some offers for you so you know how to build an offer and you also know how some of those settings work. Alrighty, we're back in Cake and we're now going to add a new offer to the platform. Now, as we just mentioned, there are two different types of offers. We have the hosted offer and a host and post offer. Now, the process of creating these two different types of offers is going to be exactly the same. So for our demonstration, I'm going to create a host and post offer, but I'll show you what it would look like to create a hosted offer in case that's the direction you're going to go in. So from here, which is just on our affiliate main tab, just happens to be the home screen of Cake when you first log in. We're going to go up to our action menu. Then we're going to go to offers and click on the plus button to open up that wizard. All right, so there's quite a few fields here. We'll go through them step by step just so that you understand what each thing is doing. So the first thing we'll do is create a name for this offer. We were talking about a finance vertical finance offer in our previous example, so I'll just stick to that theme and just call this finance offer. Now, every offer is going to be related to a vertical, which is extremely important in the case of lead distribution, because this is going to define the type of lead data you are collecting. So we'll go ahead and choose our Finance 2 vertical that we created previously. And then every offer has to have an advertiser connected to it as well. So in this case, we'll go ahead and select the advertiser that we created as well. But again, in a lot of the lead distribution offers, you tend to be the advertiser. So you would just select yourself because at the end of the day, it's really about who you're selling the leads to, not who owns the offer. So in this case, we're going to select Test Advertiser 2. Now the status is going to be relevant for whether you're on affiliate management or lead distribution. This is all about the affiliate portal. So if you have affiliates running traffic to your offers, you can give your affiliates access to the affiliate portal. And then once they get into the affiliate portal, they can review the different types of offers that you have available. And the status is going to determine how those offers show up in the affiliate portal. So a public offer will be displayed and the affiliates will have instant access to run traffic to that offer, and then they can get all of the necessary details to go live. Private just means that you have to give this offer to your affiliate. They cannot see it in the affiliate portal until you've given them access through a campaign. Apply to run is as you'd expect. It'll show in the affiliate portal. However, the affiliates have to submit a quick application, and then you would approve or deny that application. And inactive just means that you had an offer and it's now inactive, or you'd like to start your offer off as inactive because it's not ready to go live quite yet. This will turn the offer off, essentially, and any traffic that the offer tries to receive would be rejected. So we'll go ahead and just choose private for the time being. So our offer type, in our demo environment, we happen to have both the affiliate management and the lead distribution softwares turned on. So you see all three options, but we're talking specifically about hosted and host and post offers. Those are our lead distribution offer types. So I'm going to choose host and post. Again, this means I'm going to be selling leads in real time, and I can choose to pay my affiliate only when the leads get sold to my buyer as an option. And my deduplication process occurs at the offer level, not across all offers within a vertical. So those are kind of the three highlights for why you would choose a host and post offer. Currency just happens to be enabled in our system, so I'll choose dollars. That's not a feature that's turned on by default, so you could ask for that to be turned on. So price format is going to be specifically when we talk about lead distribution, where you are buying leads from your affiliates. Really, CPA and maybe rev share makes sense, but typically you're going to be paying on a cost per acquisition, so cost per lead. So CPA is going to be the most popular and most common when it comes to lead distribution. Payment model, when you're just buying leads, becomes less relevant. This is really for our affiliate management platform, where we actually have clicks occurring and then a conversion. And so you need to decide, well, who should I give credit to? Should I give it to the first touch or the last touch? So when you're buying leads directly from affiliates and there's deduplication happening, that's less relevant because you're always going to give credit to the first person that sends you the lead. Now, price received is a feature that can be a bit confusing because intuitively we're basically saying, well, how much money am I receiving for these leads? Well, in a lead distribution scenario, when you get the lead, you're going to sell the lead to a group of buyers, and those price points may be different, right? So the actual revenue that you're making on a lead is going to be determined by how much the buyer is paying you for those leads. Now, there are some unique workflows where you buy a lead, you send the lead to a buyer, and then the buyer responds with a URL that they want you to redirect the user to. So the user gets redirected to the buyer's website, and there's more of the form they can fill out from there, right? So maybe like the second page to a form. The user fills out that page of the form, and then a pixel gets fired. When the pixel gets fired, you have the option to then add a different price to that lead, and essentially overwriting what the buyer paid for the lead in the first place. So it's kind of a specific use case and workflow, and I just thought I'd mention it here. So most of the time when you're just selling leads to your buyers, you're just going to put 0 here because it doesn't really matter. You're going to depend on your buyers paying you for those leads, not on this subsequent pixel fire that occurs after the fact. Default paid is very relevant because this is how much you are advertising, how much money you'd like to pay per lead. So in this case, we can just put $10. And then the landing page URL is absolutely optional, especially in lead distribution. Actually, only in lead distribution, because there is no website that you're necessarily redirecting the user to. You're just buying leads from your affiliates. Therefore, there is no website. There's no redirect to a URL. So I can actually leave that blank in this situation. Go ahead and click next and finish. And now I have my offer card that should open up right away. All right, we're not going to go through every setting and configuration on the offer right now. We're going to try to stick to just the fundamentals so that we understand what we're trying to do within the basics of a lead distribution offer and eventually in a campaign. So let's go through some of the settings here on the offer. First and foremost, the payout that I set on the offer card is going to be the default that you apply across all of your campaigns. So if you ever wanted to change that, remember we set it at $10. So if I wanted to modify that at a later time, I would open up my offer card and right here on the info tab, go to default payout. I can update that to $11 and hit save. Now that's not going to impact any campaigns that already exist that already have a payout set. So if you already have a few campaigns out there for some affiliates and those are all set to $10, updating it to $11 here does not override it because campaigns are ultimately our lowest level, and that's where you can set payouts and make it different than the offer. But that is the new default. So the next thing we want to show you is being able to apply lead caps for this offer that actually would impact all the campaigns. Now you can set caps at the campaign level, so if you want to restrict one of your affiliate partners to only sending you 10 leads a day, that's totally fine. On the offer though, you can say this offer or program, whatever terminology you'd like to use, this offer only accepts, call it 1,000 leads per month. After that, I want to reject the leads that are coming in because I'm not going to get paid for those. So I don't want to pay my affiliates if I'm not going to get paid in return. So the way that we do that is simply clicking on the caps tab. And then from here, we have our lead cap. So I can put in 1,000 leads, set my interval to monthly, and then click save. So now Cake will respect that this offer can only receive 1,000 leads on a monthly basis. So it'll reset on the month. All right, so the way that we're doing lead deduplication to ensure that we're not buying the same leads with the same information is actually going to be a global setting. And then I can set how often we reset that deduplication on the offer itself. So I'm going to go fast forward over here to my settings area. So within setup, and our sub-tab is settings, and then our next sub-tab is going to be lead gen settings. So within this area of the platform, I can determine how we want to dedupe our leads. So by default, the system out of the box is going to dedupe on email address only. So if we see the exact same email address come through twice within the time frame that we've set on the offer, then we will call that a duplicate and Cake will ignore that lead. However, you can do it by cell phone in case your lead forms or the leads you're buying don't contain email address. You can do it by cell phone, or you can do email and then cell phone to be a bit more open about how you're actually doing that deduplication. So the method is set at a global level. Going back to my offer card, the actual timeline for that is going to be configured at the attribution level where I say my lead deduplication days is 30 days. So I can buy the same lead with the same email address every 30 days. Unless you want to make that a bit more broad, then you can say, okay, well, I honestly don't want to buy the same lead unless I see it every 120 days or whatever your timeline may be. That's how you configure it. All right, so moving on, we're going to go into some of the lead gen routing and settings. So on the offer card, if we want to modify lead gen specific settings, we're going to go ahead and click on the lead gen tab, which is unique to this offer type of host and post or hosted. And then specifically over here, we have our host and post parameters I want to draw your attention to. So out of the box, every offer that's set up as host and post is going to have these two boxes ticked. And when these two boxes are ticked together, that combined effect is I'm only going to pay my affiliates when one of my buyers purchases a lead. So it ensures that you're monetizing your leads appropriately and you're maintaining those margins and you're calculating true return on invested capital for that lead gen program. Now you can choose to modify these settings. We have an article in our knowledge base that talks about all the different ways in which you can configure this, but I just want to make it clear that you only pay your affiliates when the leads are sold. Now there are some additional settings here where I can send those failures. So let's say that I have a host and post lead and it fails for validation or it fails for one reason or another. We can actually re-queue those leads and attempt to sell that lead at another time. So it's almost making this offer a hybrid between a host and post and a hosted offer where you can take advantage of that queue and then sell that lead at a later time down the road. Now, we haven't got into lead distribution quite yet in regards to how we actually sell the leads, but there is opportunities to sell leads exclusively, so one-to-one with a buyer, or multi-sell. And that means you're selling the lead to 2 or more buyers at the exact same time. And you could configure this offer to only sell to exclusive buyers and ignore that multi-sell setup, even though maybe your other offers within the same vertical have that opportunity. So this is what sell exclusive only means. Host and post timeout is actually going to be referring to when a lead comes into Cake, we recognize that there is a shelf life to leads, especially if you have a user waiting on the website. So when it comes to the buyers and how quickly they respond to either whether or not they're going to buy the lead or not, that time frame is actually quite critical. And so you can configure this offer to say, look, I only want to sell leads to all of my buyers if I get a response within the first 20 seconds or 10 seconds. Otherwise, the lead just fails. If the lead fails, then I'm not paying my affiliate. And that's what this host and post timeout setting means, is that it's going to try to sell to multiple buyers, but you have a shelf life of 20 or 30 seconds. So you would put that in here in milliseconds. Click save, and now Cake knows that there is a hard rule of how quickly we need to sell the leads to and get that response from the buyer. Now on the left-hand side here, we have a concept called routing rules, which means that, and again, we're kind of giving you a sneak peek of the distribution side, but you may have only a handful of buyers you want these leads from this offer to sell to. In which case you can say, okay, well, I only want to list out these buyers, and now Cake will have to respect that you can only sell these leads to those buyers, or we have inverse routing rules where it's, hey, any lead from this offer can sell to anybody except for these buyers. So you can create these distribution rules as well directly from here. Now, on the vertical portion of the demonstration, I showed you how to add your fields and then validate those fields, such as first name is required. Now, you can get a bit more detailed and nuanced by actually creating that validation on the offer itself, so it can have different validation than maybe your vertical. You'd be doing that through here. So it says, look, this offer is actually defaulted to the vertical validation. If you'd like to override that, go ahead and click here, and then you'd be creating unique validation at the offer level itself. All right, the last thing I want to show you on the offer is simply just being able to give your affiliate some information about this offer. And the way you do that is by clicking on the affiliate tab, and this is where you can give specific information about this offer, how it converts, how you're buying the leads, what that workflow looks like, by going to the affiliate portal tab and then giving a description, maybe some restrictions like I'm not going to buy leads where the credit score is below 500 or the user's birthday is before this date. Whatever those restrictions may be, it's good best practice to give that insight to your affiliates so that they know exactly what you're looking for and how that works. So that is the fundamentals of the offer. And next up, we'll be going through a bit of the affiliate setup. Alrighty, the next entity that we'd like to discuss on how to build and some of the settings that go along with this is the affiliate. So again, the affiliate is going to be the partner that you are buying leads from. And in some situations, you may be your own affiliate if you are actually getting leads from your own website and buying media to that website, in which case you are the source of the lead. So in lead distribution, the affiliate is really the source of the lead. So again, just a kind of quick definition, a partner that helps generate leads by advertising offers through various channels and mediums. Affiliates can also be referred to as publishers, influencers, and referrals. And then if you work with any affiliate networks, their affiliates would be called your sub-affiliate, which is still very relevant in the lead distribution scenario. When you are buying a lead from an affiliate of yours, that lead may have come downstream, in which case you would ask your affiliate to then tell you what the sub-ID is of that lead, so that as you're buying leads and selling leads, you can gauge the quality of your partners by the sub-ID level. So it's still very relevant within lead distribution. So as I get into the demo here in just a few minutes, we'll be going over a few basics in regards to how to create the affiliate first and foremost, a few items on their settings, which really is just showing you where the affiliate portal settings are. There are quite a few of them, so we're not going to go through all of the affiliate portal settings, but I just want to make sure that you are aware of where they are. And then if you have any questions about them, to let us know, we can help you out with those. We'll be also showing you the affiliate portal, where the affiliates can actually access their API keys strictly for making API calls. Now, that's not the same as the key that is required for posting in leads. That's different. This is the API key required for getting conversion data or any kind of reporting data or offer data from the affiliate portal. We'll talk through how to add contacts to your affiliate card and ultimately how you can give them access to the affiliate portal. Cake also has an affiliate referral program, in which case you can actually reward your affiliates by the revenue or by the cost that they are generating. And then we have a full kind of accounting process for that as well. And then lastly, on the affiliate card, showing you where you can upload affiliate accounting documents or just information in general, so that when you go to run your bills at the end of the month or at the end of the billing period, you will have all of that ready to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the platform and walk you through how to add an affiliate and some of those settings. Okay, before we actually create the affiliate, I do want to show you where the affiliate grid is so that you can access all of your existing affiliates. So from the affiliate main tab, we're going to go ahead and click on the affiliate sub-tab below the reports. And this is your list of affiliates. So you can open up each affiliate card, modify contacts, change the status, etc. And this is where you're going to do that from. Now to add a new affiliate, we do have the opportunity to add affiliates directly from this grid by clicking on this button, or we also can add them from the action menu. So just to continue with our best practices, the action menu contains most of the wizards that you'll need to create new objects in the platform. So we'll go ahead and click on the plus button. Now, an affiliate only requires a name. It's one of the simplest wizards that we have in the platform. You can optionally upload their email address and some contact details if you already have a contact in mind. And then Cake can actually send them their login credentials all at the same time. So you're kind of tackling two birds with one stone through this wizard. But if we just want to create a new affiliate through the wizard and then not bother with the contact information just yet, then you simply just click next and finish, and the affiliate card will open up. So there are a couple things I do want to show you quickly on the affiliate card. First is on the billing and payments area. This is where you can upload any critical information regarding how you want to pay your affiliate, so that you always have that on file here. And then you can even set things like payment thresholds in case you may have an affiliate who generates 3 leads for you in a month, and you don't want to have to send a wire or cut a check for $20. You may want to wait until they reach a threshold of, let's say, $100, so that you're not wasting fees on the wires themselves. In which case, you can put in your threshold here, and then you can even incorporate what the auto payment fee is, so that you can either choose to pay that fee on their behalf or incorporate it into what you invoice the affiliate. So we give you some flexibility and options there. Now, to add a new contact to your affiliate once you've already created the card, assuming you didn't do that during the wizard process, just click on contacts and go ahead and add a new contact from here. You can add actually as many contacts as you'd like, and they can all have their own roles so that when you send out the credentials, each member can have their own login to Cake so that you don't have just one affiliate partner sharing one credential. You may want to be able to segment those responsibilities based on the fact that we do provide the API keys in the affiliate portal. Now, before I actually log into the affiliate portal to show you how that works and where to grab the API key, I do want to highlight that in our settings area, so within settings, we have our affiliate portal settings, which again, I mentioned previously, it was a rather long list of settings. So you can go through them one at a time. The nice thing is that every setting, for the most part, has a tooltip next to it. So you can see exactly how that works. You can create custom affiliate portal terms and conditions, and you can kind of control various aspects of the affiliate and their experience in the portal. Now I'm going to go ahead and do what's called a virtual login for this affiliate so that you can see the affiliate portal if this is your first time seeing it, and then also where to grab the API key. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this login button here, which allows us to, again, virtually log in as if we were the affiliate. So we're now seeing the affiliate portal. It's going to look very bone dry just because we don't have any reports, we don't have any data for this affiliate. And also, we don't load a lot of the reports by default to reduce strain on your system. So when the affiliates log in, they'll have to click on these buttons if they want to load those reports, because oftentimes the affiliates are just looking for an offer. And so we just want to take them straight to the offer grid, and they can see which offers are available to them right from there. Now, up here is where you're going to find that API key. So clicking on this button will give you the key, and then this link will actually take you to a separate web page where all of our documentation lives for the APIs. All right, we are approaching the finish line of this training on how to get leads into Cake and all the settings that go into that. So the last thing we really want to show you is the campaign configuration, which really is that culmination of bringing everything together. So a campaign is that relationship between an affiliate or sub-affiliate and the offer that they are generating leads for. So we've already called out that the affiliate is going to be the source of the lead, and the offer is the specific type of leads you're generating, the specific types of leads you're generating. So whether those are mortgage leads or refi leads or bathroom remodeling leads, those tend to be my examples I stick with. Now, when you put those two concepts together, you get a campaign. So now you have affiliate A submitting leads to Cake on behalf of your mortgage offer. And that is your agreement or your contract with that affiliate to pay them a certain amount of money for every lead that they generate. And it's also where you get to unlock the actual credentials that the affiliate will require to post leads into Cake in the first place. So the things that we're going to be going over here in the live demo is how to create the campaign between the affiliate and the offer that we've already created. We'll go over how to do specific payout changes for that particular affiliate. We'll show you how to generate a creative pack in case you have creative assets that you want to give to your affiliate, but more importantly, how to generate those posting documents that include the campaign ID and the campaign key, which are the two necessary pieces of information that the affiliate will require before posting leads in. We'll talk about campaign cap. So on the offer card, we talked about how you can set 1,000 leads per month. I'll show you how to create that on the campaign level, which will just impact this one particular affiliate. And then ultimately, we'll end our demo with actually taking that campaign and posting a test lead into Cake so that you can see how that URL structure looks with the campaign ID and key on it, and then also where to find your test lead so that you can just validate that everything is working properly. Now, keep in mind, we don't have a buyer set up yet. The lead can't go anywhere quite yet because we don't have a buyer to receive the lead, but we can still test the inbound nature of that lead. So we'll go ahead and get into the live demonstration. All right, so picking up where we left off, we had just created our new affiliate, and now we're ready to create that campaign relationship with the finance offer that we created previously. And as you can imagine, there are a few ways of creating these new objects in Cake, as you've already learned. Sometimes you can do it from the grid. Sometimes you can do it from the action menu. And this is no different. So from the affiliate card, I can see a list of all of my either active, pending, or inactive campaigns for this affiliate from the affiliate card directly. So these are only campaigns that belong to this particular affiliate. And I can add a new campaign from here as well. Now, the affiliate can log into the affiliate portal. They can get access to the offer, therefore creating a campaign if the offer was public. But I'm just going to show you the manual way of actually distributing a campaign or an offer to an affiliate by creating a campaign from here. Now, as you can see off to the right, I already have the action menu opened up, so I could create a campaign from here, which opens up the exact same wizard. The only difference is doing it from the affiliate card just pre-populates the affiliate on the wizard. Otherwise, my campaign wizard from the action menu, I would have to select everything one at a time, which is fine. So here we have our list of offers that I can choose from. So I have my finance offer, and as you can see, that $11 payout that I set up previously is also pre-populating. That's the default. And it's directly from here that I could make that change to say, well, this affiliate is a preferred partner of mine. I'm actually going to pay them $12 per lead and pay them a bigger CPA than maybe my other affiliates. So that is one option to do that from here. Or I can choose to update that later by opening up my campaign and modifying it, which I'll do just so you can see all the different ways of doing it. Now, the campaign wizard does require you to have a media type, and the media type is going to be informational in regards to how the affiliate got that lead in the first place. It's less relevant in lead distribution and a bit more relevant in the affiliate management piece, where you have affiliates actually using your creative assets and driving traffic to a different website. So in that case, you'd want to know, oh, this affiliate is driving traffic to my website through an email campaign or through display advertising, etc. So these media types are our default list. You can modify them in our settings area, but it is required. So I'll just go ahead and select one just for the sake of completing the wizard. Go ahead and click next and finish. And the campaign card will open up here. So now I have my campaign. I can modify the payout, as I mentioned previously, directly from the home tab of the campaign card. So in case I want to make it $12 instead of $11, $12 instead of $11, I can click save. And now this affiliate is getting paid $1 more than the default. And so if I opened up this campaign card again, you'll actually see that that is now displaying correctly on the Homes tab as well. So $12 reflected here, $12 reflected there. Now, if I wanted to set up a cap specifically for this affiliate, I could go to the Caps tab and do a lead cap of, call it 50 leads per month or per day, or I can have a custom one set up where it's only between these date ranges. So this will allow me to have a bit more control over the lead flow per partner, so that I can gauge the quality before I open up the floodgates and say, okay, you can drive as many leads as you'd like. So I go ahead and set that cap there. Now, the next thing is we talked about is creative packs. So you can actually send a creative pack in case there are creative assets on the offer. So if you uploaded some banner ads or some text links, etc., you can send that directly to the affiliate, assuming you have a contact created on the affiliate card with an email address. So Cake will actually put together that email pack and deliver it directly from the system, which is a great tool to have. The thing that we want to find, though, is if you remember on the vertical card, we generated a posting doc. That posting doc was letting us know how we receive leads in Cake. So first name looks like this, last name looks like this, and here are the requirements. Now we have that exact same posting doc. You can send that posting doc to the affiliate from here, which would actually deliver them a link to the posting doc, and then they can then go ahead and generate everything themselves. We also have this show post keys, which is going to be necessary for lead creation. So this particular affiliate is on campaign ID 26, and their post key is this value here. Now what I like to do is I like to just set this aside into a text editor so that when I go to generate my lead and post it in the URL, I just have it on hand, which I'll be bringing this back here in just a second. All right, so we've generated our post keys and the campaign ID, and now I'm ready to generate a test lead. So the way that we're going to do that is by opening up our offer so I can get access to the posting doc. So the posting doc can be accessed either on the offer card or on the vertical card. So you see we have the posting document here. The reason why we show the posting doc on the offer and the vertical is because you may have offer specific validation, in which case the offer would reflect that. So we'll go ahead and generate the posting doc real quick. And to submit a test, it actually gives us some instructions down below here. So we have our example post string, which again, I'm going to go ahead and set aside on my text editor, which I'll bring back in just a second. And then I have some posting tests. So one method is I can add ckm test equals 1, and that will just let Cake know, hey, this is a test, therefore submit this test in the test queue, so you can easily access your test leads. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my URL, and then I can see my various responses. So before I just submit this example post string, which includes all of the required fields, which as of right now is, if you remember from previously, we only made credit score a requirement. But I want to add some other fields. I want to add first name. So here we have first name we're going to add. So I want to add that to my text editor. I'm going to add last name. And I'm going to add email address, just to show you what that all looks like. All right, so here I have my text editor. I have my example URL, and I have credit score equals, let's call it 750, ckm test equals 1 to signify to Cake that this is a test. We have first name, last name, and email address. Now the things that are missing are this ckm campaign ID. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the placeholder and replace it with 26. And then I have this key here, which I will go ahead and replace there. So now I have my URL, my campaign ID, my key, and a few of the fields. So we're going to go ahead and paste that into my browser here. And what should happen is I should get a response in the browser that mimics a server response as if the affiliate is posting the lead in. So we'll go ahead and add that here, hit enter. All right, so as you can see, this is an XML response from Cake letting us know that first and foremost, there's an error because there's no qualified buyers found, which is actually expected behavior. I I just wanted you guys to see that Cake acknowledges that we received a lead. It looked for a buyer, but we had no buyers yet. But I do want to show you that we have the lead stored in Cake for testing purposes. So let's go back to Cake. I'm going to go ahead and close our action menu, close our cards, and go to our testing area, which you can actually find in both the Affiliates main tab and the Advertisers main tab. And I have recent lead submissions. And I have, here's my lead. You can see that it was marked as a test. I have a lead card, so I'm going to open up my lead. And here we actually have a lead contact. So this is an actual lead that would have otherwise sold to my buyers, but I don't have any buyers available yet. So I just wanted to show you kind of that end-to-end process of we finally got to a campaign where an affiliate is driving traffic to the offer, and we tested by posting a lead directly into the platform. We'd like to bring some awareness as well to the opportunities you have to reach our support team, and also the services that are available to you in case you need a bit of help configuring your system or managing the platform in general. So from a technical support perspective, if you do need to reach us, probably the quickest way and the easiest way is just to send an email to support@getcake.com. That auto creates a ticket in our ticketing platform, and then from there, our support team will be corresponding with you over email. You may have a contract that includes phone support as well, in which case the phone number will be accessible inside of your platform with a PIN number. Otherwise, we are also going to be launching chat inside of Cake slowly but surely, so look out for that as well. Now, the best resource that we have for self-help is going to be our knowledge base. So there's a lot of content just like this in regards to videos, articles. We have a forum that I'll get to in just a second, but that will be support.getcake.com as the URL. And that's where you can access our knowledge base and all of the wonderful content there. Now, as I mentioned, if you do need some help configuring your system or managing Cake in any way, or even creating custom tools or custom reports or custom integrations with some of the platforms that you're using, Cake does have a professional services team as well that we would be more than happy to work with you on your projects that you have. Also, when you became a client, we added you to our distribution list for the customer newsletter, which is going to include a lot of great resources, including blog articles, recent product enhancements that we're making, other shout outs to other elements of our platform as well, our blog. So look out for the customer newsletter. There's a lot of great content that comes in there. And then lastly, we have our community forum, which is a place where you can read about recent platform enhancements. You can create new topics or threads, and the Cake community is there to help support you. To access technical support while you're within Cake, go ahead and click on your name in the bottom left, just right above setup there, and you'll be able to access our knowledge base or submitting a ticket, and that's probably the quickest and easiest way, besides just sending an email to support@getcake.com. If you're already logged into Cake, then just go ahead and click on your name there and you have your access. All right, here's what we can expect next. We have training number 3, and we are going to be setting up our buyers and our buyer contracts so that we can ultimately sell and deliver leads. We'll be also talking about our monetization opportunities as well. So join us next for training number 3. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining this training. It was a bit lengthier, but it does cover everything that allows you to prepare yourself for receiving inbound leads from start to finish. So again, thank you guys very much, and we'll be seeing you in training number 3.